Take James King for example. James is GoTravel's infrastructure manager. James prides himself on the fact that GoTravel's systems have been up and running since Black Thursday in 2004, the one day that James was on leave and the backup power generator was not refueled. At the end of a long day at GoTravel, James loves the fact that he can just be one of the boys.
Nice rack.
Yeah, nice one, nerd boy.
As infrastructure manager, my team and I spend a lot of time dealing with users and applications. When a new application or update comes in, we need to make sure it runs correctly before we deploy it. So we do some in-depth testing and then install it on every desktop. If the application doesn't work correctly with our other business apps, then the troubleshooting begins. Security is a major consideration for me. Because we have many different types of users, we spend a lot of time maintaining different security levels on a case-by-case basis. Because we rely so heavily on technology, when a user rings up the help desk with a complaint about poor performance, we find that a lot of guesswork goes on whilst finding the solution. I know that Mark, our CIO, is pushing for more efficiency, but I just don't see how I can help. The bottom line for me is that my systems work well and my staff work hard.
Well said, James, but now it's Citrix's turn to give you some fresh solutions to your problems.
All right, that must be our cue. Citrix's turn to show James some solutions to his problems. Please welcome Nick Cox, everyone.
Morning.
Now, Nick is a SE from Citrix. Nick is here to help me out with some on-stage demos. And Nick, this has got to be the most complex setup that we've had yet over the years of Citrix demos. We've got laptops, we've got servers. I know we've got 2 WAN scalers and an access gateway out the back. So we'll see how we go. So first off, what I'd like to do, we met James, our infrastructure manager from GoTravel. Now, as an infrastructure manager, James would be normally looking at these particular products. So Citrix Edge Site, Citrix WAN Scaler, Access Gateway, and Presentation Server. We're going to show all of the Citrix products today in demonstration, but for this little segment of demonstration, we're going to show Citrix Edge Site, Access Gateway, and Presentation Server. So that's probably a good lead-in. We've deployed Citrix Presentation Server for GoTravel.
We have.
And let's show the audience some of that, eh?
So what we've got in front of us is a deployment of Office 2003, GoTravel Standard.
Okay.
And I'm going to launch that, and that comes from Presentation Server.
Okay, so that's being virtualized with Citrix Presentation Server 4.5. And it's executing now in the data center, in GoTravel's data center, nice and securely where it should be. Now you've been sent a file, so why don't you, let's open that one up. Okay.
Here we go. We've got an error here that says that text converter is not installed, so I can't read it.
Okay, so this demo is going well so far.
Luckily.
What are you going to do about that?
Well, we've asked James and his team to deploy on Presentation Server Office 2007.
Okay, so GoTravel have also been piloting Office 2007 and they've rolled out Office 2007 for some of their users. So Nick's been able to go into the Citrix Presentation Server web interface and click on PowerPoint 2007 and open that file that he was sent from before. Now, one of the keys to this is, and this is kind of old style Citrix, in the old days you used to have to silo off servers, right? So if you had Office 2003, you'd have a different server to Office 2007. They're conflicting applications, so they've got to run on 2 different servers. But we're using Application Isolation Environments 2.0, which is another feature of Presentation Server 4.5, and we're able to run those 2 applications, both PowerPoint 2003 and 2007 on the same server.
The very same server.
And you can see it up there on the screen. Nick's just gone in there to prove that to us, that you've got 1 server machine and the 2 applications running. They're isolated, so you don't have to go testing to make sure that they're conflicting, not conflicting, and all those kind of things. They'll run quite happily together on the same server.
Important as we go into x64 and larger number of users per server.
All those kind of things, yeah, absolutely. Okay, well that's application isolation environments. The next thing is Access Gateway Advanced. Now, I know we've deployed an Access Gateway for GoTravel as well.
We have.
And let's see what you got over there. Okay.
So what I've got is my machine at home.
Yep.
It's went out and got a new notebook with Vista on it.
Right.
And I'm just going to go to the browser and connect into our recently deployed, asked James to put in for us, an Access Gateway.
Okay.
So I'm going to go to the link where it's published to.
Okay, and you've got that prompt there, which is the endpoint analysis from the Citrix Access Gateway Enterprise. And what it does, it's checking things like virus checkers and pattern levels, what type of machine you're on, where you are. It's doing that smart access analysis to check what kind of access Nick here is being given. So you could be at home, you could be logging into this and getting access to the applications as you need to.
Indeed. I have.
And we've deployed Adobe Photoshop. Now that's not a normal application traditionally. I'm talking about old style Citrix again, I keep talking about that today, that you'd be deploying through Citrix Presentation Server. And one of the reasons is, as you do graphical manipulations, the usability isn't or hasn't been traditionally all that good. Okay? So you've got Photoshop deployed there. And the aim of this demonstration is to show speed screen progressive display, one of the new features of Presentation Server 4.5. So what are you going to do there?
I'm going to open up a high-res image.
Okay.
And show you the way it was before.
Okay, so this is with progressive speed screen progressive display off.
Off.
Right.
So I've got a high-res image here. I've got the zoom in button. I'm going to click, and it takes a little while for the image to come to me.
Yep, a little bit of time there.
It's all processing going on the back end. And I'm just going to do something which you commonly do in these sort of programs.
Cutting and pasting.
Cutting and pasting.
Oh yeah, you can see that's really lagging behind the
mouse click.
The mouse, absolutely. So the usability is really quite poor for the user, and it would be extremely frustrating for them trying to use an application like this. So what Nick's going to do, we're going to jump over to the Presentation Server console there, and we're going to switch on progressive display, speed screen progressive display. There's a single click on the policy there, and we'll flip back to the same application again, and Nick will give that another launch, and we'll go in with progressive display on. Progressive display is all about compressing images that are moving, and it's fully customizable on the server. You can turn the compression up and down depending on what suits you, but as things are moving on the screen, the compression kicks in and it makes the usability a lot better. Then when the screen stops moving, the compression will stop and the screen will clarify.
So I'm going to do that same process again, where I'm going to start off with a zoom. Are you ready for this?
Okay, so you can see compressing and it's much faster. Okay, let's do the drag and drop thing again. Hey, now in other states, we got a round of applause for that.
We did.
Oh, come on. Actually, the beauty of this is if we pause for applause, because we're videoing it today, we'll just paste it in later on. As far as I'm concerned, we were the funniest we've ever been today. Okay, that was speed screen progressive display. Let's move over and show these guys edge sites. So I've had a user that's called me just before I got on the stage. I said I had to do a presentation, but I'll have a look at your problem. My applications are running slow. What's going on?
All right, let's have a look. Well, where was the application being used from? Do you have any information about that?
They were at home.
At home?
Okay. They were at home. They were using a presentation server application.
So let's have a look there first. Let's see what EdgeSite tells us. Very, very visually, I clearly see that, well, 6 seconds, under 6 seconds log-on time is not a concern for me. Number of sessions, I'm comfortable with that. Look, no latency, that's awesome.
I'd like an internet connection like that. That's pretty good.
So I'm not very comfortable with things running normally in my presentation server.
Okay.
Let's do something just a little bit different.
Yep.
How about we provide our infrastructure guys some information about how to address this problem, because it's clearly not my problem.
Okay. All right, so we're going to have a look at, that was presentation server side, that was all fine. So we can quite easily drill down into what's going on their client device.
Absolutely, this is really exciting, right? So where I can see...
I can see you're excited about this.
It's easy. If I drill down on the high peaks, I can see exactly what's going on.
So that was really cool. You're able to click on the graphs and the little part that you were analysing, just like we've never done it before. We clicked on that and drilled right down into the graphs there.
And look what I'm provided. Okay. Here I've got why things are happening just a little unusually for this user. We've got Microsoft updates. This shouldn't be happening in this environment.
Yeah, because normally you set all the machines to be updating off a central server, but this one's going off to Windows Update and it's taking a bit of time and slowing the user down. So we're able to drill right into the processes that were going on the user side and look at latency and times and things like that and give a very succinct, very clear definition of what the issue was.
Brilliant.
Okay,
love it.
Some fantastic solutions for James, our infrastructure manager at GoTravel. Let's find out what else is going on at GoTravel.